Okay, so today we are reading from A Gracious Space Winter, but we are getting close to Gracious Space Spring. And the spring edition is available for purchase if you want to get ahead of us. I posted links to both the winter and the spring, so you can buy both if you want them. The spring edition will begin reading in April. So we'll finish out winter during March, and then we'll start on spring. All right, so here we go. A Gracious Space Winter, Day 24, Teach Self-Awareness. We spend a lot of time on the 3 R's and creating a happy, invested learning life with our kids. We show them household skills like wallpaper stripping and toilet bowl scrubbing. The chief skill we need to impart for successful relationships in life is self-awareness. I define self-awareness as the ability to know your thoughts, feelings, and needs, and then to take care of them yourself. We blame others when we don't have self-awareness. We lash out at the nearest person, expecting the unsuspecting kind bystander to take care of the agitation subtly erupting inside. For instance, a hungry child may grab your pant leg and whine, "Mommy, I don't want to go to the store," when really he means, "Mommy, I need a cup of Cheez-Its." An older child, humiliated in defeat, just beaten by long-distance competitors in World of Warcraft, may suddenly yell at a sibling, "Turn down the television, I hate that show." The thing that evokes the anger or whining is often a cover for what's really going on. We don't want to know ourselves because if we do, we must act for our own good. We wrongly assume that it feels better to get someone else to act for us. One way to foster self-awareness in your family members is to have it yourself. Narrate your own self-inquiry and self-care. "These shoes littering the hallway are literally driving me crazy." Wait, I just realized that I'm trying to think of how to coordinate Sarah's dress rehearsal with Sam's soccer match, and these shoes are distracting me from thinking of a solution. I feel like yelling. It isn't always natural to narrate your inner life, but it is helpful when you do. You can also help your children develop that self-awareness. "I see you don't want to go to the store. Are you hungry? Can I make you a turkey sandwich first, and then we'll see if you want to go?" "Whoa, that's a huge reaction to the TV. What happened? Did something not good happen in your game?" Eruptions are usually what happen to us when we aren't attending to the buildup of stress and anxiety inside. We aren't honest with ourselves. We're hungry, tired, worried, fearful, insecure. Instead, we blame the nearest intrusion as the reason for our agitation. Pause. Help your child and yourself. Take responsibility for the panicky explosion. Learn how to self-soothe, how to provide self-care. I remember when Jacob, my middle child, was a toddler, he'd get worked up into a near tantrum state. He'd then leave the room and go cry in his bed. When he was finished, he'd come back into the room cheery and ready to play. Pretty high self-awareness for a 2 or 3-year-old, don't you think? Help your kids understand how to take care of themselves out of the room activity while they figure out what's going on inside. There's nothing wrong with being heartbroken about losing a game or annoyed that trips to the store are preventing lunch. Knowing that is what's going on is key to family harmony. Quote of the day. "Julie, I'm starting to wonder if you have a little spy camera into our home. Your posts have been so spot on with what's going on here and trials we are facing and things we need to work on. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with others who need to hear it." Nancy Smith. Sustaining thought. The invisible curriculum of a home education is the gift of self-awareness. So let's talk about this for a few minutes, and then I'll scoot out. Self-awareness is a gift, and those who have it have such an asset, such a tool of self-knowledge, and they can use it for good. When you don't have self-awareness, you don't see your impact on people. You aren't able to differentiate the various conflicting emotions and attitudes that are going on inside. You might assume that you hate writing when what you hate is not having anything to say. Those are not the same. And our children typically lash out at the external world before they become aware of what's going on inside. So one of the things we want to offer our children is a second look. We don't want to discount what they present to us. If they say, I hate writing, that is a clue to what's going on. But there is more to it than just hating a whole category of subject. There is an impediment. And we want them to be in touch with what that impediment is. So we might ask, is it the pencil that's bugging you? Or does it have more to do with not really knowing what to say? Are you frustrated with writing because we've done it a lot this week and you're sort of out of words? Or is it more that whenever I bring up writing, some other feeling comes up? Is it about your spelling? Is it about the kind of paper we use? Just get curious. Ask questions. Help your kids narrow down the focus. It needs to come from a non-judgmental place. One of the reasons kids externalize and say, oh, it's because of X or Y or Z, one of the reasons they do that is that they don't want to be blamed for the truth of their experience. If they say, I hate writing because I don't feel like I have anything to say, will you come back and invalidate that? Will you say, what are you talking about? You just told me so much good information about Columbus. Just put that down. If they think what's coming back is going to be some kind of judgment or cajoling or telling them that what their experience is isn't true, they're going to start building a cocoon around that experience, and they're going to displace what the reasons are onto something more acceptable. Nicole says, so often the answer is, I don't know. I don't know is simply a first pass. That's why good quality questions help. You can also share experience. You can say, yeah, I know what you mean about hating writing. When I face a blank page, I feel panicky every time. Is that what's going on for you? Do you have that feeling? Like that. In other words, just saying what's going on may not get there because one, they're defensive. Two, they might not know. This is the teaching moment of self-awareness. If we can see this panic that comes up in them, I slugged my little sister. Why? I don't know. Well, what were you doing right before you punched her? What happened right before you punched her? Well, I was playing a game and she got really loud. Oh, well, how did her loudness interfere with your game? Oh, I don't know. I just hate it when she yells. Were you intent on passing a level? Did you, in that moment, lose? Click the wrong button? Like that. Do you see what I mean? But it's a detective hunt. It's your job to kind of get in there with them on the same team, not analyzing so you can blame them and punish them. We don't want to say, oh, you hit your sister and it's because you were playing a video game. That's it. No video games for you. If we do that, all we're doing is driving self-awareness underground. They're not going to want to tell you next time what was bothering them. They're going to cast the blame even further afield, farther away from themselves. But if we can help them get in touch, then when they're feeling those feelings the next time, they'll have a different set of choices available to them. They may not always choose right, but they'll at least know, oh, I'm really getting worked up. And maybe they'll say something like, quit yelling, I'm playing a game, I can't concentrate, as opposed to punching. See what I mean? So part of what we look for when we're working on this kind of process with our kids is seeing it as meaningful. This isn't something your children are born with. Heck, adults don't have it. They have to go to therapy, join 12-step groups, have best friends, write in journals, read how-to books, how to understand themselves. Why we expect a 4-year-old to understand why she threw the block across the room at the dog, I mean, that's a pretty big reach. But if it's safe in your family to process emotion, to dig in deep, to look at self compassionately, if that is part of your family culture, your kids will develop self-awareness. And that gift is going to help them be better partners, better friends, better children, better adults, better students, better employees, better bosses, because they won't live the life of projection. They won't live the life of assuming that their well-being is housed inside of a mother, a father, a boss, a game developer, Nintendo. Such a stupid game. Don't know why they made it like that. Right? More like, wow, this game is hard. I hate the way they made it. See what I mean? It's just that little bit of difference. That little bit of difference. And they're growing. They're in process. They won't do it perfectly well. Heck, most of you are married. Do you do it perfectly well in your marriage? Do you sometimes cast blame on your spouse when really you should just admit you're tired, you're hungry, you're angry, you're lonely? Halt. Hungry. What is it? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Ask yourself those things. Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? Halt. And figure out if any of those are currently interfering with the ability for your child to complete his workbook page or to hop in the car and do yet another shopping trip at Target that has nothing to do with his life. Poor children. They're just dragged along, The poor 4-year-old who has older siblings has to sit through soccer practice, the dentist trip, Target, has no homeschool work to do, is constantly pacified with toys and told to be quiet. Do you think that child's going to get sick of that at some point and just erupt and do something unself-aware? Yeah. That child's 4. That's what 4-year-olds do. But we have this great opportunity. And as your child is moving from one phase of development to the next, maybe from the Middle Ages to high school, well, there's going to be some discontentment there, a loss of dependence on you, a resentment of the growing independence and yet a craving of it at the same time. I always say the teens are like the push me, pull you. They want a mother, they hate a mother. They want a mother, they don't want a mother. It's this moment where they want to be treated with all this adult respect, and then 10 minutes later, can't you just do it for me? Well, that's just the nature of that age and stage. You can name it. I see you want a mother right now. I would love to be your mother right now. Oh, you don't really want a mother right now. Got it. Like that. As opposed to, how dare you talk to me that way? Name it. Name what's going on. If your child is like, gosh, I hate when you tell me what to do. Oh, I see. Right now you don't want a mother. And then later, he's like, why didn't you fill out that form? I really don't want to fill out that form. And you say, oh, I get it. You want a mother right now. Right now isn't one of the times you want me to back off and not be involved. If you say that a few times, your child is going to start to recognize, oh yeah, that is what I'm doing. As opposed to projecting and then pulling back and then projecting and then pulling back and having this argument all the time because you've named it. You're not getting sucked into the drama. You're naming what's happening and you're offering support and then you're withholding it at the appropriate times. So often we're like, be independent, go fill out that form. And your child's like, I can't, it's too hard. I don't know what to do. And then when they show, oh, I want independence, I want to go out with my friends and spend a whole day at a theme park without any adult supervision, we're like, no, don't do that. You need a parent. But what if we flipped it around? What if we recognized when they ask for our support, we jump in and we really give it? And when they ask for some independence, we figure out ways for them to experience that. That is teaching. That is self-awareness. A child who is communicating what they need, our job is to support what they need, not counter it, not tell them that what they need is wrong. You see? We're so busy all the time assuming that the thing our kid wants from us is somehow not the right thing that we get in conflict over the silliest stuff. If your child is applying to go to college, is she going to always remember deadlines? Is she going to have her essay written in time? Is she going to feel like she can face the intimidating websites? Of course not. Because part of her wants to go to college and part of her is scared to death to have to make that transition from childhood. So she's going to want you to hold her hand. But in the middle of it, when she suddenly catches on, she might want for you to leave. Oh, I can do this, Mom. I'm going to submit it myself. That's a chance to back off. It's really challenging. Parents almost always want to do the thing the child doesn't want them to do. It's just uncanny. So maybe watch for that in yourself today. Maybe that's the self-awareness piece from today that you can take forward. How am I not cooperating with what my child is presenting? How am I countering it and creating drama, unneeded drama? How can I join? This is a great principle. Join with rather than resist. Join with. Your child is showing a lot of outrage and upset. Join with the outrage. Gosh, it must be annoying. You're trying to beat this level. The TV is on high and your brother just kicked the dog and now the dog is barking. Ha! No wonder you're upset. As opposed to, hey, you don't get to yell like that. Don't be yelling. I know the TV's loud, but that's not fair. The rest of us were just sitting here. Join with it for a moment. Validate it. Give it new language. Help the child see it through a new prism. I bet that was frustrating. No wonder you yelled. Let's think about what we can do now that isn't yelling, that takes care of this circumstance. Like that. Your child says, I need help brushing my teeth one day. The next day says, don't help me brush my teeth. Can't you do both? Can't you help one day and the next day not help? And let them start to have that faltering ownership of their responsibilities? What we're looking for when I talk about self-awareness is your own as much as your kids'. Get in touch with that panicky feeling that the child is moving away from you too quickly or is relying on you too much, and ask yourself, why is that bothering me right now? What am I afraid will happen? And we're a push me, pull you too. We want their dependence on us and we want their independence from us. And none of us can ever decide which one of these we want. We change our minds every day, every child, every subject area, because of our own fluctuating needs and energy levels. I had so much energy for researching colleges with my oldest child. By the fifth child, I did not have the same energy. I had already been there, done that. I kind of expected she should be able to do it on her own. And I remember realizing that was unfair. This was her first time researching college. Of course, I should give myself to that energy that she needs. Her independence is important, but it wasn't more important than her experience of partnering from her mother, who is doing this brand new adventure with her. So sometimes it's just you. You're the person who needs a little self-awareness. You need to investigate why you see something one way and then you switch so quickly and you behave in a different way. Good. Good. Okay, well, guess what? I am going to cut this early. For those of you who don't know, I am heading to California this afternoon. My aunt, who is very dear to me, is facing the great transition. And the family is gathered, and we will all be there to usher her into the next, the grandest adventure of all, right? And so it came unexpectedly, and I've got to scoot out of here this afternoon. I've got to finish packing, but I did not want to miss this morning, so I picked an afternoon flight. I really appreciate and value the support from this community and the way that you all share so freely with each other and with me. Thank you already for the condolences for my aunt. I don't know, she could hang on. It could go longer than we're expecting. But what I do know is that the love that we all have for each other and for her will be a really important thing to share this week. And so I'm going for as many days as I can to be there for them. I will absolutely share more about my amazing aunt in this space, probably after I've written a eulogy. She's just one of the most remarkable human beings I've ever known and has had an absolutely profound impact on my adult life and shaping me into the woman and the vision of womanhood that I have today. I owe a lot of my awesome adulting to her and my mother and my other aunt, their sister, who are three trailblazers in what it means to really be both a conscientious mother and a full-board adult female woman out in the world. So I will share more when I have that opportunity. In the meantime, I love you all. Teach self-awareness today. Be self-aware today. Be gentle with yourself. None of us does it perfectly. It's always okay. Here's a great tip. It's always okay to regroup and come back after you've completely blown it. Always. So if you erupt and yell, hey, stop yelling, everybody. If you realize 3 hours later, wow, that was really over the line, guess what? That's when self-awareness hit you in the middle of your solar plexus, and you can come back and say, remember 3 hours ago when I was yelling, I was kind of out of control. I love you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm going to see if I can do better. Let's have a group hug. It's never too late. Never, never, never too late. Okay, so live honestly. Write bravely. And go listen to today's podcast with Nadine Dyer. It's fabulous. You will love it. It's entertaining and it's very helpful. And I think those of you who have kids with learning challenges, who've sometimes found yourself struggling to implement your best vision, will take a lot of comfort from Nadine's journey. She really articulates it beautifully. All right, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you back here next Monday at 11:30 for another Gracious Space reading. Bye, everyone.